everyone. God bless you. It's Pastor Sherman Ford with the Word Church in Mesa, Arizona. Welcome to another series, another segment in a series of conversations that we have here. What we try to do in this time is to have conversation, that is dialogue, with people who are on the front lines doing wonderful things. It's fresh, it's refreshing, it's invigorating. And so today we're going to have a wonderful conversation about social justice and about freedom and about change and about getting off of the stool of faith with dialogue and getting on your feet so that we can move forward in action. So let's get started. Two wonderful brothers who are here today, and we're going to start, as we always do, by asking them to introduce themselves to you. And so we're going to begin with my brother to my left, Reverend.
Amen. My name is Pierre Singfield. I am one of the youth ministers here at the Word Church. Extremely excited to, of course, be involved in overall making a change in our community.
My brother.
My name is Charles Wilson. I am from San Jose, California. Attended ASU alongside with Pierre. And one of the things that I do for the community is I actually started a company called King of the Game, where we assist high school athletes to reach their academic and athletic goals through video work. So Pierre and I are rocking the hats, but Pastor, thank you for having us here.
Now, you brothers know you got off on the short end. That was a real quick intro, and I need to know a little bit more so that those who are watching will know who you are. Now, my brother, you know we're from the same place, San Jose and San Jose. Pierre, he's a foreigner. He's not from the Bay, and so we're not going to hold that against him, but we thank God for the two of you. Talk a little bit more about you. Tell us where you're born, raised, where you're from, and how you got started with what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm from San Jose, like I said, and, very diverse in San Jose for those of you that have not been there. My mom, for those that don't know, is full Filipino, so I am mixed with Black and Filipino, and it's just always been in my blood through my dad to stand up for things that are right, and it's never too late to make that stand. And alongside with Pierre of how we came along with this, it's actually funny. Well, it's not funny based on the actions that occurred to us to react to this situation, but we were looking for ways to make change in the community. I reached out to Pierre, he reached out to me, and we were looking for ways to make change, and that is how Strive for Equality came to light. And again, God put this in us to have this vision and to share our message with others. And I'm sure Pierre could get into how we came up with the name.
All right, Pete. A little bit more about you now, Pete. Tell us where you're born and raised.
So I was born in Ohio. I grew up in Southern California. Of course, grew up in predominantly, Hispanic and Black, area. And I've had a blessing, I would say it's a blessing in disguise, but I had a chance to kind of live in several states, not just California. So I have several friends who are from all different cultures, but the reason why and the way I got to Arizona is to play football at Arizona State. God used me to be able to, use my talents and be able to also be used, by Him. Had a chance to play professional football for the Houston Texans and in Canada as well, and now I'm retired and I'm being used by God to help out the youth here at the Word Church.
Okay, so talk a little bit more about how you guys actually got together. This movement that you have going on. Share the vision. How did it happen?
So, of course, the circumstance dealing with what we kind of deal with today is not in no kind of way funny, but the way that it came up for our Strive for Equality is a little hilarious, and I'll go into details with that. So it initially arrived when me and Pastor was doing the panel, and we were talking about action plans. And my biggest thing was God at the present time was telling me to pray, not to protest, not to go out, not to do none of that, but to pray. I was in a point where I was cloudy because I was frustrated, I was angry, I didn't know how to react, and God was telling me to pray. Through that, God allowed me to now have movement and to overall start with the Strive for Equality. So pretty much what happened was it turned from a run to a walk. And what happened was the name was initially Walk for Equality, But when I was creating the Instagram page, when I created the name, they lowercase the word walk. So I went to go capitalize it, and then it said the name was already taken. So then I had to change the name to Strive for Equality because I looked up a synonym for walk. So I changed the Strive for Equality, and here we are. And then me and Charles sat down and were like, hey, how about we do a series? And what's extremely funny is usually I come up with the name, and then Charles kind of cultivates it. It brings it to life as far as the vision. So he turned it into not just one event, but he said, how about we do series throughout the valley so we can overall bring impact to not just Black lives, but to every social event that each race or each culture kind of deals with to overall make change.
Good. Charles, you want to add to that?
Yeah, and just to add to Pierre's thing, he came on my podcast and we had a full-on conversation about what happened with George Floyd and just the Black community in general. And we didn't want to dwell on the negatives. We wanted to look for solutions. We wanted to look for ways that we could bring, our thoughts into action. Because one of the things I always say is action turns knowledge into power. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but without action, there's no power. There's nothing there to kind of help drive a message. So I'm grateful for Pierre to reach out to me once he was like, hey, let's throw this event. And then obviously Pierre came up with the idea as far as Walk for Equality. The Instagram name was taken, so we went to Strive for Equality. And then we were thinking of, instead of having one event that's annual and waiting for, drastic events like this to occur to rejuvenate and motivate us, why not throw a series, an annual series where we host an event in different cities, partner with nonprofit organizations, and directly impact those cities rather than donating money to national organizations who do great work. But I think the first step is to help assist our communities that we live in.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Let me just raise this real quick. I want to salute and celebrate our Savior and both of you brothers for what you did today. We just finished your inaugural event, right? The inaugural event, which is, again, not walk, but stride. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, I don't know how y'all did it. It's the love, mercy, and grace of God. And P, I think you called me just a few days ago. And we had a number of people show up here at the church today. You had everything together, signs going down the street, people honking. Talk a little about what happened today.
Wow, it was amazing. It was amazing the fact that, how I kind of prepared this or kind of relate this to a game. Before the game, you get the bubbly effects. You don't know what's going to happen. You're nervous. You're kind of excited, but it's a lot of mixed emotions. And that's kind of how I felt about today. We, of course, planned the event within 3 days, right? We were trying to get things kind of together. We didn't know who was going to show up. We got a blessing from actually my CEO, and I'll go into detail if you don't mind. So it's kind of crazy how God works. So initially, we create the flyer, we share with Pastor. We finally get to go, I believe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I happened to share it at my job. So last week, the CEO of my company, and I work for a for-profit organization for higher education, and he shared an email saying, let's make a change or let's make a difference. Now, in the state of Texas, you don't see too much of a movement in what we're kind of looking at today. Well, our company operates out of Texas. Our CEO wants to make a difference. So he's like, hey, whoever wants to go out and peacefully protest or wants to kind of dedicate time towards what's going on, I'll give you 8 hours of paid PTO. So that literally just blew my mind. So Tuesday of this week, we decided, of course, get to go. I shared the flyer that we created with just my direct supervisor and the people who are on my team. And he decides to give it to the CEO. He decides to write an email and say, hey, Pierre is a faith-driven individual. He's highly involved in the community. This is the event that he's throwing. Just wanted to recognize him. The pastor, the CEO, Michael, reaches out and says, hey, I love what you're doing. Would love to be involved. How about I donate some funds for you guys to go to Walmart to buy supplies? He gave us a gift card to buy supplies. So he actually funded the entire event. And what was the blessing or the message behind it was really extreme. My direct supervisor does not believe in God. And he said, through this experience, your faith increased my faith. And I was sitting in there, I got that text last night. It's crazy how God works, how God can take a situation when you're clouded and he can directly impact the person that he wants. See, it's one soul that matters. If 10 to 30 people don't show up, but one person show up and God can impact that one person, that's what matters. So I seen how he, of course, directly impacted my direct supervisor through overall blessing us through our CEO. So extremely excited. So that happened. The movement, of course, started, and we were able to, of course, go out there and protest. I've never been in a protest, and here I am creating a protest.
Leading a protest. Yeah,
So-
yeah. Y'all co-leading a protest. And Charles, he ain't never been in one. Have you ever been in one before?
I've been part of the MLK March.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. What a testimony, though, man. I mean, to have your boss do that, but to have the Lord use you and use this movement to make a move on the heart of another person who may not even know the Lord or does not even know the Lord yet. That's a beautiful thing. Charles.
So the funny story is, yes, Pierre's CEO donated money, but he reached out to me on Facebook. And at first, me and my wife were going to Chipotle, and I seen a notification from some, and I'm not gonna put the name out there, but from some random person. And for those of you that have Facebook, you know that you get a lot of spam messages, people trying to access, certain things. So when someone says, hey, I'm going to give you money, my first reaction was, I don't know who this person is. They stated they knew Pierre, so that's when I reached out to Pierre saying, hey, who is this? He told me that's the CEO, and then that's how we actually got the money.
Yes. Wow. It's crazy because I didn't even get it. Like, it was he didn't give it to me. He didn't say anything to me. He reached out to Charles.
I never met him before. We're not friends on Facebook. It was interesting how that whole thing transpired, but again, it's a blessing that he was able to provide this. Again, we're blessed to have the Word Church, give us an opportunity to use this floor to spread this message.
Well, I'm not going to try to hold you guys too much longer. Just have another question, perhaps two, and I'm going to let you guys go. It's been a march. This is AZ, y'all, which means normally it's 2,003 degrees today. It is not that, and God gave us cover, right? So even when we were walking, God sent clouds to kind of block the sun, and so it's been a wonderful day, but still a long day. Let me ask you this. I want to close in a moment with you all giving us all the information on how people can partner, where they can connect, with you moving forward. It's our honor to participate today. Anything that our church can do going forward, we're certainly excited, to do that. What is the central message? What is the motto or the mission statement of this work that you all just started? If you can give me that, and then give me a comment after that on what is your message to the community, to the world, on what's going on right now. George Floyd, what's happening, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Charles, let me start with you.
Yeah, our motto is right in the name of our movement is strive for equality. Stride, we're striding towards an actual goal, and to have equality there would be beneficial for everyone. Again, there shouldn't be hate in anyone's heart, but our message is to just push out that, hey, everyone is equal. Black Lives Matter, as Pierre stated to everyone that attended the event, when you have 10 houses and one of them's on fire, you attend to the one that is on fire, right? But we're pushing out this message. Maybe it'll motivate more people to take action in the community. And for those that do not agree with our movement and our message, there's awareness there. They're still seeing us out there. They're still seeing the signs. So even if they don't agree, they're starting to see more of us out there putting our ideas into action. And I think one of the messages that I wrote on the board was, the more you ignore, the louder we get. And you could ignore, you keep ignoring, like situations like George Floyd. Again, people have their own way of reacting to things, and we're not in a position to tell them if they're right or wrong, but that's how they feel at the time. If people keep ignoring, obviously, unfortunately, actions, we need to be heard.
Right. Right. That's good. P.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, and I think, of course, the George Floyd incident that took place literally, I want to say woke me up, but it allowed me to directly relate to him. That could have been me, right? I could have been in his place, right? I have a 6-year-old daughter just like he did. So it really hit me hard. I couldn't even watch the video initially because I can't see things like that because it's going to be stuck in my mind for a while. And I think I finally seen some of it like a week and a half later. So it did cause me to get up and move. I had to do something. Once again, like I told you guys, I would go to sleep thinking about it. I would wake up thinking about it. How can I overall help someone not go through this again? How do I bring awareness to those families that may be experiencing or may have some hate towards a group of people because of their skin color? How do I bring awareness to those individuals? So overall, I'm glad that we were able to kind of move on this. I'm excited on what God is going to do for us and how we're going to be able to, of course, branch out and to be able to, of course, impact people.
Amen. Thank you, Charles.
So one more thing that the George Floyd incident brought to light for me was silence. Silence now is louder than people actually putting these actions out there. I'm noticing a lot of people that have been silent, and again, hopefully our movement, Strive for Equality, will assist them and motivate them to come out and support this message, or maybe support it in ways that they are comfortable supporting it.
Yeah, that's really good. How can people connect with Strive for Equality?
So we are currently on Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook, it is facebook.com/stride4, 4, and then on Instagram, Stride for Equality.
That's it? Okay. All right. Well, listen, let me just say again to both of you, we are Peacock proud and hallelujah happy at our church to connect with Stride 4, that's the number 4, freedom, Strive for Equality. Strive for us. We're happy to stride with you. And so we're excited about that. It's been a joy for us today. I'm asking everyone in our church family to connect on Facebook and Instagram with this movement. What we want to do is move forward in faith, but also action. Remember, here's our new piece that we're pushing and promoting in our church. It is #FWWID, faith without works is dead. And so James says, you show me your faith without your works, and I'll show you my faith how? By my works. And so it's only what we do for Christ that really lasts. And so I want to thank you again for joining us, for joining me. Thank God for these brothers. Would you pray for the movement and pray that God uses them for his glory and for the good of others? God bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.